Well, welcome to another episode of the SOS Show. Now, to further prove concept that it's very easy for the veterans that I'll give these new rocket NASA phones to, and I'm going to teach them how to produce these shows, I'm just going to roll camera on some Lyft rides. So I've signed up for Lyft a couple hours a day while I'm proving this concept. I'll pick up some riders, get some conversations, and see how it goes. I'm going to start tomorrow morning. I'll probably work I like to get up early, so 4 in the morning till 7, and then start my regular day. But tune in for some exciting conversations I hope to have some exciting conversations, or it wouldn't be a good show, and it wouldn't be able to prove concept that just talking to people is interesting. And so stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Nick, welcome to the SOS Show. So you look like a doctor.
I am.
What kind of doctor are you?
I'm a liver transplant surgeon.
A liver transplant surgeon. That's got to be a wonderful thing to do.
It is. It's challenging. It's rewarding. It's absolutely the best field a person can be in.
How many will you do one today?
No, did 2 yesterday, but don't have one scheduled today. In fact, that's an odd word, schedule. We don't really schedule them. Of course, they're usually unexpected procedures because that's how the system works. So they're not usually scheduled per se.
It's typically someone's on a dialysis before they do this?
No, typically if they have liver failure, typically they're on a waiting list, but then it's the donor part of it that's unscheduled. The donors are usually from people that have died, so that's obviously unpredictable. So that's where the donors typically come from. The livers come from. So.
How long does it take to do an operation?
As little as 3 hours and as much as 20 hours. Typically, probably about 4 to 5 hours would be a typical surgery.
On a 20-hour operation, obviously, is the shifts. You're not going to do 20 hours yourself.
No, I mean, yeah, we have a great team. We have a team of doctors and a team of anesthesiologists, the whole team that gets through these. So we don't necessarily trade off per se, but there's plenty of help around. Yeah, you take breaks. Sometimes you even take coffee breaks in the middle of a 20-hour surgery. So.
And you said you work for Cedars-Sinai.
Cedars-Sinai, yeah.
Great hospital. I was born there.
My kids were born there.
63 years ago.
Wonderful hospital. We're going to go right here.
Beautiful home you have there. Ocean view.
Well, all of Southern California is beautiful in a sense. I come from Minnesota and came out here for training 20 years ago or so, and never thought I'd stay, but here I am 20 years later. I guess a lot of Minnesotans have that experience. They come to California and find it hard.
So it's a little warmer, huh?
It's a little warmer, and you got the ocean. We have 10,000 lakes, but they're not like the ocean.
10,000 lakes. Can you name them all?
Let's see, Mille Lacs, Minnetonka. Yeah.
Are you a water skier? Were you?
A little bit, but Minnesota's. I don't know. Minnesota's just an incredible state. It's not really about enjoying the lakes. It's just about the culture and the personality and the work ethic and the people. They have an expression, Minnesota nice. We talk about the way people deal with each other, and it's pretty applicable. I mean, it's just a certain almost stoic kindness that exists up there, and I think that exists everywhere. But up there, it's just sort of ingrained in the culture.
Do you have family back there? Do you still go back there?
Yeah, my family still. I go back there all the time. The family's still there. Die-hard Minnesota Vikings fan.
I've been to
today's one of the few days I don't have a Viking shirt on underneath my scrubs. So,
is it right? Go Vikings.
Go Vikings. Yeah, it was a tough year last year.
Was it? And I'm a tennis buff. My sons were professional tennis players. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Got a full ride on college.
Where at?
One went to UCLA, and one went to Texas A&M.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Lester was number 1 for 3 years at A&M, and Jason was played between 3 and 5 for UCLA.
Wow.
Both played the tour. Lester played all the Grand Slams.
So tour meaning pro?
Yeah,
on
pro
tour.
tour.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Lester played all the Grand Slams. So as a parent, I got to enjoy that benefit. Sitting next to Roger Federer, Maria Sharapova.
You're one of those people I see on TV then watching the ball go back and forth.
Yeah, like this. You get a lot of neck exercise.
Yeah. That's great. And where are they now? Are they still doing it? Or they
No, they're retired. I'm a grandfather. Lester's up in Ojai, very successful real estate broker up there, banging it up. And Jason is a financial analyst for a wine company. And he married a Persian lady. And so I'm part Persian now, which is pretty cool. They great traditions. They have great parties, good people. You know, it's nice when you get along with the in-laws, you know?
Absolutely. My in-laws are here now.
You get along with them?
I get along with them great. They just came in yesterday. We have a special grant. Our middle school has a special friends and grandparents day, which is this Friday. So my 8th grader and my 6th grader, the grandparents will go with them to their school. So pretty cool.
Very nice.
Yes, I get along with my in-laws.
And where are they from?
They're from New York, upstate New York, Highland, New York, which is close to Poughkeepsie.
Country? It's a country. That's the
Apple
country.
Orchard area. That's what
Apple
they say.
Orchard.
Apple Orchard country.
So you're going to work. You always work this early? I mean, you have to be there.
Yeah. No, I mean I have surgery at 7, but it's I have a bunch of charts to dictate from yesterday and just to catch up. We have team rounds at 7 o'clock. So yeah, day starts pretty early. So, but I've figured out a long time ago that I could make my life a lot easier if I just take.
Isn't it great being chauffeured?
Take a car to work.
Being chauffeured to work. I mean, how cool is that? And it's not expensive either, you know?
Not bad at all.
Not bad life. You gotta, I always say life is a movie, and you direct every scene, every day in your life. And you can make it a horror film, you can make it a comedy, you can, make it a happy story, or you can be depressed, like a lot of people like to be, and blame the world. It's my parents' fault. The world likes to blame fault on everything, instead of just taking action and living it, So what I'm doing is I'm creating this proof of concept for a TV show that I can help veterans with. I run a charity called Supporting Our Servicemen, and we encourage retailers to give discounts to veterans. We've got doctors, lawyers, restaurants, hotels as members. We list them, and the veteran puts a zip code in and finds those services. So it's like a directory.
Sure.
We give them sailboat rides for free. We give them fishing trips for free. We have the resources on the site for them. And what I'm doing now is I'm giving them a free, state-of-the-art NASA rocket phone, which is coming out. You'll be hearing about it. It's called the rocket phone. NASA invented the cell phone technology. A lot of people don't know that. And there's about 1,000 patents they have on it. And this phone, most phones are 5G speed. This phone is 400G speed. And it's 3D movies. It comes with 3D movies, 10 million songs, free doctor online video, life insurance, roadside assistance, you name it. It's a phenomenal phone. I'm going to give one to a veteran that participates in the program. They get a free phone. I give them a half-hour weekly time slot on a national network that's on Roku, Amazon Fire Sticks, and Apple. And I teach them how, in a half an hour, they can create a show, interviews, whatever. I went to the marathon, got some interviews, showed the action, and that was a half-hour show. Did it in an hour. Free software on your phone, on 3 apps, and they keep all the money. They get sponsorships from the local companies. It doesn't cost them anything.
Sure.
But if they get $25 a week or $2,500 a week, they keep all the money. All I ask is they put my 30-second SOS commercial on each episode. Not much to ask for. And so I'm showing how easy it could be. If this is a half-hour ride, we have a half-hour episode.
All right.
We
What
talk
do you
about.
wanna talk about?
We do. Tell me, what's your hobby as a liver transplant surgeon?
Well,
And speak a little louder.
oh, sure. Sorry. We travel. My family and my wife and 2 kids, we travel. We just got back from Costa Rica. Spring break. Wonderful time in Costa Rica. The boys and I took up surfing. Minnesota Vikings are my hobby. That's a passion. But the boys and I go back home about 5-6 times a year. There's a new stadium there, and again, just being home in Minnesota and enjoying that town, enjoying that people, enjoying my family is probably the thing I find most rewarding outside of work.
Are you spoiling your children?
That's a great question. It's a tough question. They have opportunities that I didn't have. A lot of opportunities I didn't have. I don't think we're spoiling them by any means. I think they hopefully see the world as a great big opportunity in front of them, and we're trying to teach them hard work and determination and drive and passion, and give them every chance they have to succeed. But there's no question they have access to things I didn't have access to, and I struggle with that a little bit. I never went to Costa Rica, and even all the entertainment we have access to. I think every parent struggles with that. So it's kind of part of life, but we've got to figure out a solution.
Well, yeah, I consider myself a modern-day philosopher, and this is one of the questions I ask, because you love your kids and you want the best for them, and a lot of times you just give in all the time. You won't carry through with a punishment, and the kids take advantage of you from the crib. They see what they can get away with, and that's the nature of the children, I guess. And once they get control, you never get it back. So I like to see parents at least have one strict, person in the group.
Well, I have a pretty great partner in that. My wife's a heart surgeon.
She's a heart surgeon?
She's a heart surgeon, heart transplant surgeon, and she's an incredible lady, incredible person, and she's running a company from home, and I'm leaving pretty early, but she's pretty tough. She's a wonderful lady, but there's pretty strict bedtime, pretty strict media rules, and a lot of other important kind strictness, I think. So we're doing all right in that.
So
you gotta have a good teammate.
Yeah,
no doubt about that. You gotta have a good teammate.
I've been married
tough to do it alone.
36 years. How long have you been married?
15 years this year.
15. Congratulations. I think any time you could get along with someone for over 5 years, it's a miracle. Because it's too easy for people to get divorced. Oh, we had a fight, let's get divorced. Too many people have kids just to keep a marriage together, and that's not right. But because even if you're from the same town, you're completely different people. And then my wife's French, so there's 2 cultures difference. But
we met in resident. We met during our training in Chicago. We actually met in the operating room. She wrote a book about her life, and she's told this story many times. So we met in the operating room. We trained together, and similar upbringing, similar families. So we have a lot of similarities, but very, very lucky. I'm lucky, just like you're lucky.
2 surgeons in the family. That's got to be a rarity.
I don't think it's not very common. There's a lot of 2 doctor families out there. I think we're a little different because, like I said, 2 surgeons. In fact, 2 transplant surgeons, and just last night at Boy Scouts. So and then there's an example of something we do as a team. The boys are both in Boy Scouts, and so I'm leading one of the crews on a wilderness trek in end of July, and so I went there last night for a group meeting of all the assistant scoutmasters and things, and they said, "Oh, your wife's here," and I said, "What's she doing here?" "She's teaching CPR CPR to the second-year scouts. So she had brought all of her CPR mannequins, and she was in a whole separate area doing a big CPR class for all the second-year scouts. So it's pretty cool.
That's very cool. Not to be negative, but unfortunately, you can save someone's life in today's society with CPR and maybe break the rib because, as an accident, but you save their life and they turn and sue you.
No, they actually can't. There's some pretty good laws that protect people from, if you're trying to help somebody and something happens along the way, you're pretty well protected. These Good Samaritan laws, they call them. So,
oh, is that right?
Yeah, you're pretty safe.
Well, that's good to know.
In fact, you're really obligated to help them. There's certain things you're not obligated to do, but you really can't just ignore someone where there's an opportunity for you to intervene and save their life or do something. That's
good. Did you are you a Seinfeld fan?
Sure.
Did you see the episode where the Good Samaritan episode? They're in a private plane and they have a problem, so they have to land in a little town, and so they have a little time to kill. And while they're walking through the town, this guy's getting accosted, a fat guy, and they thought it was kind of funny. It wasn't really mean, he's just being accosted, whatever. And when the police came, he pointed out that those guys didn't help me, and they all got arrested for not helping the guy, the Good Samaritan law. And it was, Seinfeld is fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Amazing.
Great show.
But people it's a crazy society. They'll rob you and your home and break their leg in your home and sue you and win. Explain that.
I hear you.
I always say America's middle name is Sue.
Yeah. Well, of course, we see that on the medical side too. There's a lot of medicine is aimed, medical practice is aimed towards defense, towards protecting yourself from litigation. I guess that's just the nature of things, but I think every physician to some degree practices defensive medicine. You can't help it.
Well, that's why you have the malpractice insurance.
Yeah, you do, and
is that what they call it?
Yeah, malpractice insurance, sure. But there's a lot of waste in medicine. A lot of tests ordered that don't need to be ordered, but you're a little bit worried about being that 1% or that 2% that misses something. So
I met a lady last week who is a pharmacist, and she started a company called Honeydew Pharmacy. It's a $10 subscription a month, but you get your medications at hundreds of % less because a big farm charges quite a big markup. And I don't take medications, my wife does, and she was telling me, I called up my wife and she said, yeah, that $30 medicine would cost you $3 with our program. So it's nice that people are doing things like that because big farm is, obviously a problem.
Well, big pharma gets a lot of bad press, but let's look at hepatitis C. So hepatitis C, was the scourge of liver transplant. It was the scourge of the world. And then a few years ago, of course, and this was largely driven by pharmaceutical companies, they announced a cure. And now we've not completely, 98% eradicated hepatitis C. And I was just thinking about this morning, as a physician and as a liver physician, one of the most remarkable things I'm going to see in my entire career is going to be the change literally overnight from having a disease that was largely untreatable to completely wiping it away. And it's affected all aspects of our practice. Transplant now. Liver transplant used to be, when we transplanted a person with hepatitis C, 100% they got it back afterwards. And in a large number of cases, it would actually cause the new liver to fail. And we were always worried about the effects of hepatitis C on the new liver, and it affected just every decision we made. And now we have drugs to treat it, and it's just fascinating to see the disease just go away. And I tell the residents and the trainees that we have, I try to put it in perspective and to remind them that as easy as it is to treat hepatitis C today, that if you go back 5 years, we had very bad, very, very poor treatments, very, very poor solutions. problem, and that they're seeing the actual evolution of medicine. And I tell them sometimes to just pause for a second and just think about what it was like 5 years ago compared to what it was like now. There aren't many things like that we see in medicine during our career where a disease is almost wiped away, and that's again driven by capitalism and by pharmaceutical companies trying to have a successful business, and they did. You know, the companies that came to market first made out quite well, actually.
Well, without the big profit, they can't do the research and development for future.
Absolutely.
Which is, I mean, there's pluses and minuses. You can't fix everything. I mean, there are cures to cancer, but I think there's, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, they don't want to cure cancer because there's a lot of money on it. I mean, they do and they don't, and that's why the people go to foreign countries to get cured.
I don't know.
What do you think about that?
I think that everybody wants to cure cancer. I think the first person that comes up with the first pharmaceutical company that comes up with a legitimate contributing medicine makes a lot of money. So, but I honestly, I think people are good people. They do it because they want to make the world a better place. But there's no question.
I want to hope for that.
There's no question there's profit involved. Look at if you introduce a new drug right now that has an effect on a cancer that is that is fairly common.
Well, what about CBD? Profit. That's been known to cure stage 4 cancer. CBD. Do you know about that first?
I haven't seen it cure cancer. I know there's people that say it has, but I haven't seen it cure cancer. But there's a lot of discussion about alternative forms of treatment for cancer, and a lot of that has not been explored very well by U.S. doctors. By CBD and other types of treatments that a lot of people have heard about. They've heard about people going overseas. They've heard about through their alternative care pathways, through homeopathic doctors, other things. And we haven't done a very good job in America of exploring that. And it's a great opportunity. As a practicing doctor, you're caught in a little bit of a bind because on the one hand, obviously you want to help your patient. On the other hand, you want it to be data driven. You want to be able to convince yourself and your patient that there's data behind what you're doing. And reports of success from friends and from a few sources don't really cut it. So anyway, we have a lot of work to do on exploring alternative cancer treatments. There's no question about it.
Now, if you personally knew someone with stage 4 and you saw that CBD cured them, how would that change for you or your goals going forward?
How would it change? Well,
you obviously,
I would investigate it more closely. I would probably write it up in a medical journal. If I looked into that and I said, wow, I have no other explanation other than this, I would write that up in a medical journal. It probably would get rejected, but I would still try. How would it affect me otherwise? Well, I already use it. I use it in stage 4 cancer as a sort of a comfort medication. So
okay, that's good to know.
I think it's got a lot of benefits.
I think it's an amazing drug myself, and I'm not as educated as you, but what I'm hearing, it's quite amazing what it can do. All the different things. I mean, the plant itself is amazing. The hemp plant, not necessarily cannabis. That it's you can make drinks out of it. You can make clothing out of it. You can make some of the strongest construction materials on the planet with it. I've seen it. I've seen rebar made with hemp, wood. It's obviously fireproof. It's an amazing plant.
No, I have no doubt as to its benefits. I don't know about it curing cancer, but we can leave that alone for now. But I have no doubt it's a valuable medicine. I have a dear friend of mine who's got stage 4 cancer right now, and he's on getting hospice care, and we sent him home from the hospital, and he was just doing terribly. He started CBD, and he was better within a few days. I visited him several times, and he's absolutely convinced that's what made the difference. Now the cancer's still there, but life is a whole lot better.
Oh, that's good to hear.
A whole lot better.
Wonderful to hear. Well, doctor, it's what did we do? We did 23 minutes of it. We were practically my whole show. It'll be an episode on it. So let me give you my card here.
Sure.
This is it'll be posted at ilovesos.org under the SOS Show.
Okay.
And I almost kind of want to have you as a guest. How's your cooking?
My cooking is typical male cooking in America.
And your wife? Yeah.
My wife's a very good cook.
Okay, so the two of you, I would love to have an episode. I have a show called Cooking Styles of the Rich and Famous. And it would be you and your wife cooking your favorite meal for your friends, and maybe some more doctors. That would be great. A whole cast of doctors.
Sure.
A dinner party. We
Sure.
supply everything. You do the cooking, and it's a free form to talk about, like we did, anything. And literally 100 million people could watch the show through the network that it'll be broadcasting on.
Sure. My wife's a good cook. I am not, but I can still figure out a few things.
What's your favorite meal? What's your last meal?
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. Wait a second. We're going.
It says we're on 8701 Beverly. You tell me where to go.
Oh, we're gonna go. It's a little tricky. If you can sneak left here.
Sure.
That would be best. My favorite meal. Let's see. We have every Sunday night. My wife makes a nice family-style meal. We sit down with the kids. It's just the four of us, and we always have a good Sunday dinner. Usually a nice roasted chicken, and let's see. I'm trying to think of. It would definitely be something she cooks. I have to say that, but it's true.
Well, you can assist in the kitchen.
Oh, I can assist.
You could be
but
the
I'm
sous
not.
chef.
Yeah, I'm not. Our nephew is a sous chef at a nearby restaurant. He stays with us a lot. I actually think that's a great opportunity to teach kids to cook.
Well, that's one of the things we're going to be doing. But basically, the guest gets to invite their favorite chef to help them.
Oh, good. That would be our nephew.
That would be your nephew. So you invite your nephew.
That's awesome.
And we've done 3 episodes. One was an actress, one was a comedian, one was a prince.
Oh my gosh.
And had a ball. We feed everybody, so we bring enough food that when you cook, you cook for your group, but you also feed the crew. And everyone had so much fun. And it's for charity. We support 2 charities in every episode. One, I developed the show just for veterans, to expose my veteran charity. But if you and your wife have a favorite charity, we would support that as well and talk about it. And the unique part of the show is everything you see on camera is for sale.
Wow.
The clothing, the food, the booze, the watch. We have a watch sponsor.
Sure.
And we usually get those at a wholesale price, sell it at retail. The big goes to supporting the charities and funding the show. How about that?
That's awesome.
Want to be a guest?
Love to. You know who's the best cook in our group is her father, who's out here visiting right now. I mentioned this before. Her parents are here. He is a master chef.
Master chef.
So,
How long was he out here for? So if we could put it together.
he's just here for a few days.
Oh,
He's here
well,
for
next
special
time.
grandparents' day. But that's a big tradition. We're gonna go right here.
Okay.
He comes out, and of course my wife and her nephew, who's the other chef, they're all together in the kitchen, a big Magliato Italian fest. It's quite a sight to see.
Yeah. I love eating. I mean, it's not that I quite created the show. I don't know how it came to me, but I'm always trying to think how I can tell the world, the country, about what a great, right here?
Yeah.
What a great show, what a great charity this is. And this might be the vehicle because everyone loves it. Next month, we're having John Paul DeJoria on the show. Do you know who he is?
No, I don't.
You heard of Patron Tequila?
Sure.
He just sold that last month for
Oh my gosh.
5.1.
I'm embarrassed I don't know that. Of course I
And
know.
Paul Mitchell Hair Products.
Yeah,
Good friend of mine.
Yep.
He'll be on the
Oh, he
show.
is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you have a card on you by any chance?
I do.
Let me get your card. Did you lose mine?
Paul Mitchell's. Oh shoot! I actually don't. Goodness gracious.
Hello, America. Do you have a product or a service? Would you like to increase your business, earn customer loyalty, spread patriotism, and thank our veterans for the service to our country? You can do all that by joining Supporting Our Servicemen, a 501c3 dedicated to helping and thanking our veterans. Please join today at ilovesos.org.